It's getting hot in here. Bring your sunblock, because today we're joining Lizardmen and Skaven in the Iron Sand Desert as Pippington and a gentle rat clash in Halo's recent tournament. The Warhammer 2 El Clasico of dinos and rats, and some of the Skaven's most impressive regiments of renown will be joining the fray. Albino Guard and Blightscab's Plague Pack provide some powerful armor-piercing potential, as well as immune to psychology in an area of effect, which can completely save the game for the Ratmen when it comes to preventing terror routes on their battle line. The skittering legs and mewling minds of a Hell Pit Abomination will give them a powerful option against Carnosaurs and Kroxigors, and a Warp Lightning Cannon will do its best to snipe out some high-value targets before these hated rivals meet in melee once more. So for Pippington and the Lizardmen, infantry consists of a bunch of Ola Skinks, alternating between the Cohort and Red Crescent variant. Feral Basilodon for some cheap terror and damage absorption, but Kroxigors are going to be the main focus here. Their support is the deciding factor in whether or not the reptiles can force their way through and get into the squishy center of the Ratman battle line. Skink Priest with Transformation of Kadon and Flock of Doom, 3 Kroxigors anchoring the infantry rush, and over on the right flank is the Lizardmen HQ, the command center, Overlord. 2 Cold One Riders for some speed, and a Saurus Oldblood on a Carnosaur. Busting out the Indominus Rex here, just Foe Seeker and Amulet of Itzel for that life-saving ward save in sticky situations. His job is pretty simple. Turn rodents into red mist, and alongside his Feral Carnosaur buddy, certainly has the killing power to do it. Warp Lightning Cannon's going to open up fire now, and they'll be going right for those Cold One Riders, and taking those off the field early, gonna be pretty useful for the Ratmen. They do not want those sneaking up behind their battle line and chomping at the bit to get into those Warp Lightning Cannons or into the Rattling guns. Now in the front ranks for the Skaven, Ashen Gutter Runners with Poison Shurikens are going to be bringing up the Vanguard. Pretty annoying to deal with. And the front ranks have some very powerful infantry. Blightscab's Plague Pack Sensor Bearers have a fantastic stat line, lower enemy morale on contact, and Demagoguery prevents fear or terror routes within 40 meters. Incredibly useful when you know terror is a big part of your enemy's game plan, like it is with the Lizardmen. Council Guard Albinos are what all Stormfront Halberds aspire to be. Amazing melee defense, unbreakable Guardian Aura. They're going to be a tough nut to crack. Should be super helpful in defending the Screaming Bell or A-Bomb from attack. Behind them, Rattling Guns of Clan Scryer. Torrent of Warpstone Bullets, the only gift that awaits any who stray too close, with the Screaming Bells of Clan Scrutin and the Greyseers right behind them. Vermintide and Blessed with Filth, his 2 spell options for the day. And that is the HQ for the Skaven, but over on this side, too many faces, too many eyes, too many legs. Ain't natural, that thing. Ain't natural at all. It's a Hell Pit Abomination. Can go toe-to-toe with Dinosaurs, Carnosaurs. I'm not going to want to stray too close to that thing. It can get pretty messy in a fight between a Carnosaur and an HPA, but we'll have to see if it actually ends up being a 1v1, because there are 2 Carnosaurs on the field. Might make that Kaiju battle not the easiest thing for the Skaven, but of course they do have a lot of other tools for dealing with those big dinos. One of which is the Warp Lightning Cannon, which is shredding those Cold One Riders on the way in, and it seems like that's the target they want to go for here, and I think Pippington might just have to sack that Cold One Rider. Yeah, you can chase after the Gutter Runners all day, but they'll get snared, they'll get slowed, they'll get exploded by all that bonus for large and AP coming in from the Warp Lightning Cannon, and at this point, you just gotta throw them into melee and try to get some value out of them, because they are pretty much toast at this point in the battle. They are really not going to be able to do too much here, so charging into the Clan Rats might be the best opportunity he has. Kroxigors, Red Crescent Skinks, and the Cohort of the Lizardmen charging in now, and it'll just be a frontal engagement all the way across the battle line. Kroxigors are certainly going to help turn that in the early stages here, and it is going to get nasty. Red Ruin getting carved through by all these massive monsters, and the Kroxigors will go to work as they start death rolling on their opposition, styling on them. Clan Rats getting tossed into the sky and eaten, gobbled up for dinner. Poison Globes getting tossed in there as well. The bonus for stars from them should be pretty useful in taking out the big monsters. As the Rattling Guns fire in, start chunking their HP down as well. Screaming Bell getting in there too as the Carnosaurs gang up on the left flank of the Skaven. Pippington's committing a lot to that fight, trying to break their backs on the left side, so his Dinosaurs can start causing havoc in that ooey gooey green center, but a nice formation from a gentle rat, ready to overlap some fire with Rattling Guns and unleash the Abomination. Poison Globes generating some good value against the Kroxigors out here, and they will need to, because outside the Council Guard, their infantry is not cut out for winning against monsters, as a Manticore summon starts gobbling up a few of those weapon teams, And lots of routing for the clan rats, but more meat shields charging in, more of those reserves piling in to create a bit of a buffer zone for that HPA. Kroxigors smashing around Blightscab's Plague Pack, and unleash the Zords. Kaiju battle on aisle 12. Get suplexed, you filthy creature. Enjoy that. As Warp Lightning Cannons arc in, start dealing some good damage to the Oldblood. That was fantastic. And we've got 2 Carnosaurs ganging up on 1 gigantic HPA. But you know what? I have a feeling that Hell Pit Abomination isn't going to go down too easy. Probably needs a bit more support than it's getting at the moment, though. And Blightscab's Plague Pack pushing forward a little bit too far. You want them near your HQ so they can provide that immune to psychology. But here we go. Happy Feet. Wombo combo. That ain't Falco. And the HPA gonna just, that's a nasty combination with an overhand left and some nice jabs following it up. Right hook, gonna knock that Carnosaur out and deal quite a bit of damage as well. Spin him all the way around and doing a pretty good job of getting some great shots in with that Warp Lightning Cannon, causing some havoc in the Dinosaur lines. But the HPA cannot stand against 2 Carnosaurs by itself for much longer. It needs more support. Kroxigors on top of those Poison Glow Bombardiers, and Lizardmen seem to be getting the engagements they want all over the battlefield. Skinks running over some of these clan rats in the back. Warp Lightning Cannon might get shut down by that Kroxigor unit. Feral Bastiladon is full HP, and the Feral Manticore summons add that little bit of extra terror and mobility that Skaven really don't like dealing with very much. Hell Pit Abomination is still alive and doing another wombo combo, this time on the Feral Carnosaur, getting some good damage in, and he does have some meat shields around him now, as the Blightscab's Plague Pack should be able to chunk their way through those Skink cohort really easily. But what I'd like to see from the Skaven here is as soon as that unit is dead, pull it back. Give the rest of your Storm Vermin and your Clan Rats and your other units that immune to Psych so they don't tear around. Because right now that is probably the biggest problem the Skaven are dealing with. Most of their mainline infantry is terror routing the second they get anywhere near those Carnosaurs or that Feral Bastiladon. They do have some meat shields here. They are trying their best to protect that Warp Lightning Cannon, but the Kroxigors getting a rear charge into the Blightscab's Plague Pack, and that will shut down their opportunity to retreat back to their own battle line. And that's not really the fight that Plague Sensor Bearers want to take. They can deal good damage to Kroxigors, fantastic damage against them, but they need a bit more support there, and they're not going to be able to get it. But Skaven are getting a full surround off on the Skink cohort out on this side, and the Screaming Bell is still in good shape. Kroxigors are really beaten up. Those Poison Wind Globadiers actually did a tremendous amount of damage to them. They were trying to smash their way through the Ratmen infantry, and the Kroxigors are going to completely zone out these Plague Sensor Bearers, who may not get another opportunity to retreat back to the safety of their own army. They're getting sliced apart, smashed into the desert, and pretty soon I would expect them to rout. They might be able to get a few kills though. They have 47 melee attack and very high armor piercing damage. The Rattling guns have come back though, and it looks like the Skaven are beginning to rally. The Carnosaur is down to half HP. The Oldblood has been taking damage and has not been able to beat that Screaming Bell in a 1v1 duel, which has me a little bit surprised. Very smart move from Pippington though, and this is such an important aspect. He's going to chase that Hell Pit Abomination off the map. Yes, you're giving up that Feral Carnosaur for a couple minutes while he chases him, as this Oldblood gets in there and starts snacking on the Poison Wind Globadiers. But the fact that he's going after that Hell Pit Abomination means it cannot return to the fight, and that will be a huge swing in the Lizardmen's favor. Oldblood is getting zoned out relatively decently at the moment though. Skink Priest going to be able to cast some Overcast Flock of Dooms, but he's already summoned 2 Manticores, so I don't think he's going to have much Winds of Magic left. And the Skaven are 100% beginning to stabilize, and a lot of that is around that Screaming Bell and those Council Guard Albinos. They're going to be an incredibly tough nut to crack for the Kroxigors to deal with, for the Carnosaurs to deal with. They're bonus force large, they're unbreakable, they cannot rout whatsoever, and so if you put them in the middle of your formation, get some meat shields around it, and get that Screaming Bell in the center with that Unholy Clamor, that Vigor, and that map-wide leadership, you could make a very nice HQ Bastion that prevents the Lizardmen from doing what they want to do. And Kroxigors don't want to get anywhere near that. Feral Bastiladon is actually rampaged in the center of that Storm Vermin formation. And those halberds will stab into its armored flank over and over until it is dead. Cold-Blooded needs to get cast on him right now, or he's going to be losing that unit. Looks like the A-bomb went down in the corner of the map, pooped out some slave rats, and the feral Carnosaur is going to nope on out of there. Has no desire to pad his kill stats over on that side. He has more important things to worry about, but Rattling guns are firing into that Oldblood, and I think that Pippington does not want any of that action. He's trying to charge through that suppression, that minus 36% speed, going to turn that Oldblood around, and he took a tremendous amount of damage there and will continue to get chipped down as he moves further away. And that is the thing about Rattling guns. When you're nearby, you will take way more damage. So if he had committed more fully to that charge, he would have been very sad. Instead, he's going to go the other way and into the Eshin Assassins. The Gunner Runners, with their shurikens, will get scythed apart as that Carnosaur jumps into them. But we've got a huge block of vermin right now. The Vermintide charging in to Kroxigors and the Skinks. Downhill charge. That is epic. And they're going back at it. Both sides charging into a huge melee scrum. Carnosaur can look to flank around, probably get into the rear, maybe cause a terror rout, and this is where you would love to have that Blight Scabs Plague Pack for the AoE immune to Psych. Rear charge coming in now, and some more of those verminous spells. Plague rippling through as Unholy Clamor and that bell, that dreaded 13th bell, gives a map-wide leadership bonus to the Skaven, gives them better vigor. Vermintide coming forth, more summons into the back of the Lizardmen battle line, but that's a terror rout, and the feral Carnosaur has rejoined the party, saying, "Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just a big dino," charging in from the side, and that Screaming Bell is in a very precarious position. Gonna have to be very cautious about its positioning. Look at those melee animations. Very janky, but they will move you out of the safety of those unbreakable halberds. He needs to be in the middle of those storm vermin. If he's not, the Carnosaurs will be able to goon up on him easier and take him down. Balance bar is shifting in the Lizardmen's favor, and I think that Skaven might be running out of steam here. They're gonna need something crazy to get rid of these Carnosaurs. They need those Rattling guns or something to come back and get a really nice volley into that Oldblood. If the Oldblood goes down, these Lizardmen could actually be in big trouble, but the Screaming Bell is pushed out of the safety of his own infantry. Blessed with Filth might help a bit to lower the melee stats of those Carnosaurs, but against two Apex Predators with their armor piercing and bonus force large, it's just not a fight a Screaming Bell or a Grey Seer wants to take, and it looks like he's only a couple attacks away from going down. Carnosaur moving away though, he's also a couple hits from dying, but what is there on the field that can actually strike that killing blow? The Albino Guard are hunting for him as that Carnosaur bounds through like a little puppy, just playing with his toys. And another Flock of Doom. That's like a third or fourth one I've seen this battle, alongside those two Manticore summons. That Lore of Beast Skink Caster generated so much value for such a little price point, tiny price point, like 800 gold or something when he's on foot with those two spells, and that will put the nail in the coffin for the Skaven. The Thagaraki will run from the field as the Carnosaurs surround that Screaming Bell and send it running to the edges of the map. Looks like the Albino Guard, the Storm Vermin, are the only ones that will stick around, and they will fight to the end as the Kroxigors charge in and the Dinosaurs start munching on their flesh, but they should be able to get quite a few more kills in, and in fact, I think they almost killed that Oldblood. I think he's on 200, 300 HP now. Lizardmen really don't have a whole lot left. They're getting tossed around, but that will be the end of the battle. We'll enjoy some cinematics as we talk strategy. So there were a few things there that I think the Skaven could have done to equalize that a bit. It was still a very close game. I think Gentle Rat played pretty well. Pippington certainly did. But as we take a look at what's left for the Lizardmen army, I think the Skaven did not support their Hell Pit Abomination as well as he should have. He had him out on the left flank, kind of on an island unto himself. He had a few meat shields get sent out that way, which is good. You want to make sure that it has bodies around it so it's not taking all the damage from the things that surround it. And of course, when you've got a bunch of meat shields and Skaven slaves nearby, Carnosaurs are a lot more likely to attack those than they are the Hell Pit Abomination because there are bodies in their way. Other issue I think he had there was that the Blight Scabs Plague Pack, they won their engagement, which they were going to do against pretty much any Lizardman infantry. Problem was they won and then they continued chasing, and that's happened to me many, many times in the past. You send a unit in, they win, you look away for a split second, and then they're 15 yards, 30 yards downfield, and they've been smashing up those routing units, which is great, except that the Plague Sensor Bearer ROR really needs to be in the middle of your army. where it's giving that immune to psych in an AoE, where it's preventing the terror routes. I think that could have been a completely different battle if he notices them chasing, immediately pulls them back, gets them near that Screaming Bell, and then just closes in and creates a nice little wall of spears all around that Screaming Bell. You have the Stormvermin Halberds to anchor your battle line. You have a bunch of clan rats all around you, meat shielding. None of them will terror route. They'll fight for way longer than they normally would be able to. You have the Unholy Clamor, that leadership, that bigger map wide. All that stuff stacking up together with Unbreakable Halberds with 50 melee defense in the middle of it. I don't know if the Lizardmen would have been able to crack that. With that said though, Pippington played that match very well. His Kroxigors got obscene kill counts, 105, 182, and 105. And his Feral Carnosaur got 3 chevrons. Now, single entities do generate chevrons more easily in battle than infantry regiments. I don't know why that is, but they benefit from them tremendously. And in fact, when you earn chevrons in-game, the stat bonuses are significantly larger than the ones you get on the pre-battle screen when you give them chevrons before the battle actually starts. I don't know why that is, but that Feral Carnosaur had way better stats at the end of the game than he did at the start because of those 3 chevrons. And his Oldblood got 105 kills as well. Basically just did a good job of getting into the back line, shutting down the artillery, getting into the weapon teams and shutting them down. But the Poison Wind Globadiers, even though they didn't get a lot of kills, they were a big reason why those Kroxigors were so depleted when they finally made it into the Warp Lightning Cannon and into the other stuff. It was a very fun battle, very close. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. See you next time. Peace out.